Hello everybody, welcome. We are here with our second series of the day for the ESL 1 Katowice European Qualifiers, and they started early, on time, quickly. Let's go. Draft is kicking off. Insania. We're deep in. The one real big defining factor though for me is the Huskar.
10 seconds
It's been picked. It's been picked. And we've been having a few chats off screen talking about our feelings, our thoughts about Dota 2 in general. And Huskar came up. I think he's a very strong hero in the right circumstances. I said that I want to start spamming him again.
Yeah, I think your exact words were something along the lines of, I want to ruin people's dreams and hopes of gaining MMR.
Pretty much. Also, I want to try and drag myself out of the Divine 0, Divine 1.
Oh, I'll be visiting you very soon.
Yep, I've seen your recent games.
Yeah.
So we start off with a Gyro first pick, Sand King, Batrider, Clockwork, Oracle in the second stage, led right into the Huskar. They ban out the CK, which obviously that age-old physical damage illusion counter to the Huskar, who has no clear. But you were saying that Wise Monkeys do have ways to deal with his hero.
Yeah. They have a lot of physical damage in Venge. Like, just having a Vengeful Spirit on your team basically makes, like, it's kind of like a Drow thing, just not as extreme. But everybody hits really, really hard. And then you have a Visage on top of it, which provides a lot of physical damage. And for me, when you're playing against Huskar or Oracle, more than like having a lot of damage, you really need to have lockdown. You need to be able to like stop him from hitting, because you kind of need to lock him down throughout that 8 seconds, or basically have some way of like resetting the fight or getting out once the Oracle ult gets popped. So, I'm not saying that it's not by any means a countered Huskar, but it's for sure not a free Huskar game. And I think they still have the option of potentially picking like an Ancient Apparition or something along those lines.
Oh, yeah.
Though, to be fair, it's not as good against Oracle, but it's still a great hero against Huskar.
For sure. They've a decent amount of disable on Wise Monkeys as well. Like Burrow Strike can be annoying for a Huskar. Venge Swap can be super annoying, dragging him back with Life Break or just making sure that he's left stranded. Even Napalm to some extent, you were saying that Life Break, purges him off as he jumps forward, but before level 6 or even in the middle of a team fight, sticking Napalm, Huskar is so reliant on like focusing one target, maybe shifting to another if the other one just gets out of range, or if they get displaced or repositioned. Napalm can be a little bit annoying, but then he's got Oracle's Dispel from Fortune's End to deal with that. So they've got like, there's this like layering of backup plans and problems that they have to solve, and you can definitely see multiple ways for both teams to get in and out of fights.
Yeah.
But we're down to the final picks now. You mentioned an AA could be slotted in here for Wise Monkeys, but for me, looking at this draft, I'm not sure where any of these heroes are going.
Yeah, I mean, it's still very open, like Venge could be position 1, it could be position 5, you don't really know. They did go with the AA. I was thinking, I think TB would have been a pretty good hero this game. Otherwise, because there's basically no lockdown on Radiant. There's like 1 stun now with the Earth Spirit. I don't know if you count like the rocket as a stun. It's like so slow, and I feel like TB is one of those heroes that Huskar just struggles playing against. You have a lot of physical damage. You have that swap, like the Sunder. So, could have been another option, but they went with AA, just like the straightforward way. I think it's hard to say, but this game is going to come down a lot to like how well the Visage does, I think. His game is going to be very important for their success. But they have a lot of good roaming tools, Sand King AA. They can definitely pressure the map. I'm curious to see if they maybe try lane. Put Bat safe lane against the clock. I think that could be an option. Because Bat against Oracle is just a horrible matchup, both in lane and throughout the game.
Well, from their previous drafts, we can very likely say it's like Venge 1, Batrider off lane, Tricky, and WTS, the 2 supports, which leaves you potentially that Visage mid, which we've not seen in quite some time.
Yeah. I think they're all like, specialists, people that just like that hero a lot, that just play it all the time. And I feel like it's one of those heroes, kind of similar to the Wind Ranger in the last series, where it's maybe not like
it's not like a Meepo or an Invoker where you need like a specialist.
I think it is.
Like a super specialist on it?
Yeah, okay. I think usually like the people that play Visage, it's like a select group of players. It's not like
anyone can just pick it up and
yeah, that's what it feels like to me at least.
Okay. You definitely. I guess it is, like, Visage is a lot more like Meepo than maybe like an Invoker, right? Invoker's more combo-based. You think about your timings, your combos, your spells. Visage and Meepo are more, map control, microing to find openings on the map, right?
Yeah.
Where you're sending your birds to one side to gank with your team while your heroes, showing on lane somewhere else.
I feel like with most of those heroes where you have like a lot of options that are all good, usually like the people that play those heroes are just people that play the hero like a ton. Even like regardless of meta, they just play it. I'm sure this guy's like, yeah, Visage got nerfed. He's not as good as he used to be, but I still think he's really good, and I enjoy playing it a lot, so they keep picking it.
Cool. It was a little bit spooky when we were getting into this game. In the lobby, one of the Georgian players, Tricky, said hello to me. I didn't see it until the lobby started. I tried to say hi back, but we were looking up their Dota buff profiles and talking about different players and things like that. Went to his profile to try and see who he was. I've got no idea where I've met him before, or if I've talked to him. He knows who I am, but I don't know who he is. And we come across some friends in common, which we were talking about like 2 minutes before as well, which was a little bit scary.
Yeah.
He knows what I've got on my screens. He knows what I'm typing. Looking up his Dota buff profiles. Early on, Ward from the Radiant does spot the Earth Spirit. Plays his Observer Ward down.
So, what was her name? Wise Monkeys?
Wise Monkeys, yeah.
Wise Monkeys? Alright, Wise Monkeys made something that I have not seen in a long time, where they smoked out and actually placed wards. This used to be super popular before when you had, like, no cooldown on your TP in the start. And the advantage of it is literally like what you just said. You get to see where your opponent wards, and most likely they're going to get a sentry with one of these bounty runes and remove that middle lane ward. I hope.
That
okay.
going to... no, apparently. I mean, do they give double to Visage? Yeah, Visage got both bounty runes.
Yeah.
And he's not spending his money on a sentry.
Nah, okay, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be so sad about it. A is going to buy the sentry, and then the Visage is going to eat it.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm going to be real sad.
He bought double salve, in fact, on this mid Visage, coming out on the courier.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's super unusual for me. I mean, it could have been a salve and a sentry to D-ward, but maybe...
No, what do you mean? Why would you do that? That's the support's job.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just thinking from a different perspective, I'm wrong, for sure.
Like, where you have, like, teammates and they also need things?
Oh,
man.
Teammates. Working together.
Oh, you mean the enemies on my team.
Ah.
Alright, so they actually did do this, like, lane swap where they sent the Venge top.
1v1 on clock. And then this aggro try of Oracle, Earth Spirit, Huskar. And the Sand King AA should have a decent time if they can play together. But Hanskin will get forced away by Tricky for now, while Huskar and Oracle can maybe put a bit of pressure back into the Batrider. Hanskin not out of the woods just yet, until the Sand King decides to back away. Does have boots first over on the SK.
Yeah. And here, if you're the Radiant team, you're the team that's looking to try to get things done in the laning phase. You do not want like a static laning phase where both teams are farming, because you have like the stronger roaming duo, or like the stronger support duo to apply pressure. This Oracle, like, you want to try to avoid laning phase as much as possible. And by the looks of things right now, it's looking to go the way they want it to.
Things going reasonably well. Gyro mid, what's he looking at? 2 in barrage, 1 in flak. No levels in homing missile just yet, but this fight around bot lane just never ceases. As Sand King sneaks out a bounty rune under the nose of the Oracle. And so far, Evil Corp still trying to keep this Huskar in the lane. He is pretty far forward, but they have Fortune's End to dispel the sticky napalm. He'll back himself away. Earth Spirit is ready to roll in, but you've got this Earth Spirit stuck at level 1 for a while, and hitting level 2 or even level 3 to get that extra damage, the extra stun. So important for the hero. In an aggro tri lane like this, you have to make kills happen. So going in onto Tricky now, getting this takedown, super important as the Huskar moves forward. Nice burrow strike in with a sticky napalm on Firefly. They might be able to bring down the Huskar. With the stick charge keeping up a little bit longer, they'll find the trade on the Sand King. But now the Venge has made a rotation in all the way across the map to get the 2 for 2.
This is actually the dream as the Venge. You want, when you make these rotations where you swap lanes, you ideally want to get some kills to make up for the lost time when you're running. So she comes in at the perfect time and gets experience for the kill. And I'm sure he's really happy about that.
And now, safe lane farm for the Venge. How's the Bat ride? So Bat got level 3. He can now stack jungle top, go and actually lane against the Clockwork decently.
Yeah, most likely Clock's moving bottom now though. Or just like doing a drive-by past mid when nighttime hits at like 4 minutes.
Musical lanes. Getting Huskar up and running super important, though. You know, we used to see from Miracle the no boots armlet rush when he had a Dazzler and Oracle behind him. Just get that first item up. But recently, you know, that was a good year and a half ago. We've seen a few shifts in Huskar builds. I know I've seen a lot of players trying out Tread's Urn, they're trying early halberds. Armlet is still a key component. Even against an Ancient Apparition, you're probably still looking for that item. But with status resistance being added in, strength items being so strong on this hero, Huskar has had a few, you know, maybe hidden buffs that people haven't really caught onto yet. And also the fact that he can just fight so early on. You know, he goes in and blows people up, which really is the way the game's played recently. Get those early kills, get the numbers advantage as mid lane. Roll in from Earth Spirit, Hanskin, nice boulder smash will start things off. The homing missile comes through and allows Own Me to get nice cogs pushed back. But Visage with just 1 point in that cloak is so tanky. They're going to have to retreat away as the Sand King's arriving. We've got a 4v4 all-out brawl in mid lane. Batrider will finally back away with that Firefly expended, and they've swapped their lanes around completely again. Venge up top now against the Huskar. They'll move the Sand King AA there. And this shift of players across from lane to lane just never going to stop, it feels like.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of emphasis on not allowing Huskar to free farm. Even though they're not getting kills, they're forcing him to run around, and you can really tell, like, nobody in this game really has high CS. And I think that basically what that means is that you have a longer or like extended laning phase where neither team is like really farming, so they're going to be farming for a longer time into the game. And it benefits the Radiant in the way that they have heroes that can utilize low levels and make more stuff happen. Dire just wants like the static laning phase where they're allowed to sit somewhere and farm and get their levels, get Oracle level 6, get Huskar that armlet, and then start doing things. Whereas Radiant, they're just like buying themselves time, buying Visage time.
Yeah, they want like level 6 AA, Sand King with a blink, Bat with a blink. The longer that laning phase, the longer the kind of safe farming period goes, the better chances they have to get the big items. And I guess Evil Corp, they're slow build up, they can get these items whenever they want, but they want to use them as quickly as possible as, again, the lane shift happens, Clockwork. Like, how bad does this feel as a Clockwork? You're being told by your captain and your carry to be like, out of that lane, into this lane, move here, move there. Nope, I'm farming here. What do? Do you just try to be like a 4-roll Clockwork, roam and look for kills?
Yeah, I think actually Clock is like one of the better heroes just for that purpose, because you can actually just move and set up plays between every time you need to rotate out a lane, you're a threat on the map. Like, he's in fog, so it's scary. I mean, Sand King spots him, but as a concept, like, whenever he's in fog, it's scary, especially when he's level 6.
Sand King, the 4-man gank from the Radiant, from the Dire this time into the Radiant side. It does tank it for Discover, though. Visage with the medallion up with the wand. Just hides back behind this tier 1 mid. This is such an unusual game where Clock is level 6 before the mid laner is on the opponent's team.
Yeah, it's just been allowed to sit in a lane and nobody coming by and leeching experience. So birds are online now. I would look to do something around Visage's lane if I was playing the Sand King probably. This is like the time where Visage is really strong. And one of the big benefits of... Oh, bottom lane, sorry.
They catch the Batrider. It's all good for the Dire team. Quick and easy kill. Get that Huskar closer to that level 6, but again the rotations, Venge and AA both down here, while what you were looking for, the Sand King did kind of lurk around mid, but Gyro, the waves under his tower, no real action to be had there. And he makes the move down to bottom, swap into the Cold Feet with a Burrow Strike in, they'll catch the Huskar.
They're playing very coordinated. I really like to see how, like, they're playing very well together. Wise Monkeys. I've never seen them play before, so it's interesting to see. It seems like they've really practiced, like, at least similar lineups.
Yeah, they know where they need to be. They're not giving anything away. There's no real errors being made. As Bat has drums complete already. You know, you look at the CS and you're like, what's going on in this game? Level-wise, you've got 4 heroes still level 3 at 8 minutes in. But net worth-wise, Clockwork is top of the board for the Dire. Top red heroes, Clockwork. Cold Feet onto Hansk. Oh, nice Burrow Strike in. Sand King even takes the Bounty Rune. As they potentially take down Hanskin here. No, the roll away with the Purifying Flames, keeping him barely alive. No real turnaround potential onto the AA, but they'll get the Sand King now. The hook shot, that's what we're looking for. Cogs trap him in, tricky, stuck in a dangerous spot as the birds do fly over the Clockwork. He's trying to get in on top of the Visage, but that's a lot of damage to withstand. They'll clear up the birds and get some nice gold. They do lose their offlaner for it.
Yeah, getting those bird kills are actually really big. I believe they give 100 gold each, so 200 gold. I think that's more than you got. Yeah, that's more than you got for the AA kill. So,
Yeah.
um,
Oh.
yeah, big kill up top.
Batrider Lasso with the help of the drums. Catching Huskar again. He's such an immobile hero early on. You know, he's very good going forward, playing aggressively, but if he's caught, he doesn't have a Force Staff or a Hurricane Pike. He doesn't have, you know, a BKB, obviously, or anything like that just now. So dealing with Sticky Napalm, Lasso can be very, very hard for him.
Yeah, this game tempo is like a bit too fast for him. He wants to get Armlet and then start playing at this tempo, as Venge is probably going down here up top.
Yeah, they're in on top of XL.
Oh wow, turning it around.
No way. Surviving as well. She's not dying. 5 Burning Spears, 4. Oh, maybe with the last tick. No, heals up through with the Tango. And WTS Sand King has another Burrow Strike in a couple of seconds here. The homing missile's coming through. The Boulder Smash, where is it? Hanskin, no mana, has to roll for it, but they get the kill before he lands. Still, Sand King, 4 of the deaths here out of the 7 or so that Evil Corp have picked up, but he's been tanking these deaths for the rest of his team, saving Visage, saving Venge. He's up in the front lines, causing havoc.
Yeah, I really don't like these deaths. Don't really matter that much. He's getting experience for the kills and he's being involved, so it's not like, yeah, sure he has 4 deaths, but like you said, it's always in exchange for something else. So I think it's totally fine. Looks like Venge wants to make a swap play up top.
Gyro with no cooldown. Swapped back into the Cold Feet stun. They make it look relatively easy. Even with the Oracle behind, it's going to be a dead Gyro. And now, wrapping in from even further behind, they've got the birds, the familiars landing in, the hook shot to the west, they've caught the Venge. The stick charges into the stun, and oh god, she's turning! Discover with a double kill, and the Georgians, man, do they look good.
Yeah, they're playing a very coordinated game. Like, for example, when they're going top as 2 heroes, they already have the Visage rotating in from the river, covering off the angles where people could be coming from. And I feel like as much of last game was a game of like 2 teams that are just playing off how they feel, this feels like a very coordinated team where it's like, this is how we need to play our lineup, and they've figured it out, and they're just trying to play it according to how they've learned to do it.
Evil Corp trying to put the pieces together. Sand King might fall here.
There's a swap on Venge.
Got the Sandstorm off, but the cooldown landing, WTS, Fortune's End will finally finish him, but again, he's trading his life for the greater good. They've got the Batrider arriving with a lasso there. Earth Spirit rolls down, but they've caught the Oracle, already having taken down that Gyrocopter. The Oracle dies in the back end as well as they're chasing Earth Spirit. They're just getting one after the other. Tricky will be helped out by the Familiars landing in with the Cold Feet, and there's no roll yet for Hanskin. Just coming off cooldown, but he's stuck. Cold Feet snaps. He's trapped and he's dead.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking real rough. Like, they're getting a lot of kills, but you kind of have to as this Visage. Unfortunately, the way the meta is right now, or like the way the game is, you don't really get too much resources from these kills. So, unless it affects Evil Corp's mentality too much, like not too much, then it's not as impactful as you might think.
They'll still get this Huskar hitting that timing. 12 minutes Armlet with Boots, Wand, Windlace, and it's probably like 3 minutes, maybe a bit more behind where you want to be. But it's still not terribly awful. You do have the Oracle closing in on level 6 as well, and once you have those both in tandem, you can maybe look to make plays, but the big issue for me is that this Ancient Apparition is already level 6. He has his Ice Blast before you hit that, False Promise Armlet timing.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking really good for for Wise Monkeys. This is exactly the kind of game that they wanted. I think it's probably like going a lot better than they expected to. They're actually stealing away the Roche. I think this is a huge play against Huskar. They not only managed to avoid the smoke to the bottom lane, but they're also at the same time taking away Roche, which, as a Huskar player yourself, I'm sure you know the pains of that.
You need Roshan on this hero more than you need it on Ursa, honestly.
Yeah.
It's super desperate when Roshan is going to fall while they're taking a tier, well, they're barely taking a tier 1. They're chipping away at it. This glyph will buy some more time. But Discover has pretty much soloed it here with Helm of the Dominator up on the Visage. Does he have a creep out somewhere? I can't see one, but...
No, I can't see one right now either. Maybe use it to tank Roche in the beginning. I'm not sure.
I guess so.
Yeah.
There's some cool things you can do with, Centaur Stomps. Get some Satyr Blasts for that extra damage to go alongside Soul Assumption, as now they might be thinking about stealing away this Ancient stack. Already pressuring top tier 2. They've got a line of heroes all across this map from mid to top in that dire jungle.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what they do next. They're playing a very fast-paced game. Like they're very like building aura items. You see the hood on. There we go. Actually,
Nice
never mind.
two-man stun, lasso into Ice Blast as well. The False Promise comes in onto the gyro, gets his cooldown out, but the Huskar, he needs to do work here. He'll bring down the Bat Rider, but where's the life break? Needs to jump in and play aggressively. The armor toggles will not be good enough. And down go Evil Corporation. Excel swaps back the clockwork, and they get a full team wipe. 14 minutes in. Huge plays from
Yeah,
Wise Monkeys.
I actually feel like they're playing like so well. This feels like a very high level gameplay coming out from Wise Monkeys. They're really just pushing their heroes, and they're using the fact that they're ahead, and they're really like making those small resource lead into like a very big thing, because they're forcing fights with items that are like better than their value, or whatever you should say. Like the reason that you don't see like more of these items are because they're not slot efficient.
They're just cost efficient, right?
They're very cost efficient, right? They're just not slot efficient. So when you buy them early game, it's really good at that time, but as the game goes on, they start like fading off. So they're buying these items and they're immediately making plays with them. And when you do that, it looks like what it does right now. They really know how to use them as well to their limits. So it's very nice to see, very impressive.
It does lead to some redundancy later on, right? Where
Yeah.
you start wondering if I'd gone for a bigger item here, maybe.
Yeah,
Do
like
better in the mid game.
even the Visage went back for a pair of drums now. So to me, it gives the feeling of like they're not expecting this game to last more than 15 minutes from here. Or like they expect to maybe not like finish off the throne in 15 minutes, but to have like taken so much control of the game that they're in total control. Something along those lines.
Have a full beat down.
Yeah.
What's the Huskar up to now? Morbid Mask on him. Oracle, of course, holding hands with the Huskar now for as long as possible. They were forced to use the False Promise on the gyro in the previous fight, but this dive stinks of desperation as Hansken will kick back the AA and now drag back into the hands of that wonderful little tricky ancient apparition. Clockwork's hookshot did not land, and now he is in no man's land. Deep behind enemy's lines, trapped inside a cage of his own design. Inside the cogs, he's stunned and killed. And bot lane, as the Visage pushing, farming, while the Sand King collects his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, and they essentially have every single core item on their heroes now. Like Venge has his Hurricane Pike and 350 gold. Bat has his Blink, Sand King has his Blink, Visage has everything he wants.
I would phase boots as well.
Yeah. Actually, what boots do you normally buy in Visage? I'm not too sure myself.
I've seen Tranquils, I've seen Treads. I guess I've seen everything across all the roles, but
Yeah.
mid Visage we saw a lot of Tranquils.
A lot of Tranquils,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So it was mainly like Tranquil, like you go Brown Boots, Medallion, Tranquil, Solar Crest, then Ags, or like
Yeah.
Midas before Ags, depending.
Yeah.
But then they changed all the talents, so I guess with like 30 damage talent plus phase boots, seems pretty good with Grave
Yeah.
Chill maxed out.
And they're already poking high ground. They've taken down the base tower. This is huge. I'm curious to see if they just fall back and go for the shrines, or if they want to commit this and really use that Aegis. A play that I really like doing with Bat Rider when you're in this situation is to like smoke up and go straight back into the lane. Like you back off.
The fake back.
Yeah, the fake back, and then you smoke back in with a lasso. But unfortunately, it's on cooldown.
And I TP'd Venge up top as well, so it looks
Yeah.
like their decision has been made somewhat.
Yep, just fall back. They didn't even go for the shrine. Just happy with the tower. Get it later. Farming out the map, pushing out the lanes again. Yeah, it's looking really good for Wise Monkeys. Just need to keep playing this pace. I think that's really the key. Like, they don't want to slow the game down too much. Because, you know, if Huskar gets enough items with the Oracle backing him up, eventually he will. Yeah, exactly. Eventually he will be probably the strongest hero on the map.
But they've been hitting at him kind of at the right timings. You know, when
Yeah.
Oracle's ulti is down, or when they've already taken Roshan, you know, pressuring him pre-armlet, pre-Morbid Mask, and now pre-Halberd or BKB or Force Staff, whatever he's deciding to go for. This fight feels like it has to work out for Evil Corp, or else the game might just be over. If they can't get a huge win here, there's going to be dangerous times ahead. They'll roll forward with Hansken, but already the Force Staff away from Excel. They turn onto Clock, and Hansken cannot save his friends. They're going to commit for this. They have to. Huskar's in. The False Promise is there, but the Ice Blast is already on top. He needs to 1v5. He has to 1v5. He's the only one alive. And the Well Played comes out from the Radiant, because that's pretty much game over. I don't think there's much left in the tank here for the Dire team, as 4 alive from the Radiant will storm down this top lane and look for another tier 3.
Yeah, this Venge is just so, like, all the heroes are just so strong right now. All these auras are stacking up. They're sitting at a bunch of extra health regen. They have so many of these, like, drums and Earns, and it was a really great play by Sanking. He ran in intentionally, trying to like pop any kind of smoke, blinks away, gets the spells off, and I'm honestly a fan. I really like how they're playing this game.
It's just so crisp.
Yeah, it really is. They're not like playing slow. They're not like playing unnecessarily fast.
But there's no hesitation either.
Right, exactly. It's beautiful Dota.
It really is.
Yeah.
But it's super unexpected for me. Like, I'm still in shock. I'm still thinking, who are no, seriously, who are these guys?
Yeah, I've never heard of them either.
Is this newbie playing in Europe on Smurf accounts or something? Like, what? Is it Mineski? Is that why they got a Visage mid? No. He's Georgian 5-stack come through the open qualifiers and showing the rest of Europe what's happening.
Yeah, no, they're playing a very impressive, like, Dota in general. It's really cool to see.
Well, Clockwork has his hood, aiming for the 4-staff. Still some chance here for Evil Corp, not tapping out just yet. One laner racks down, 20 minutes in, no big deal. We've got a Huskar, we have a Gyro. We'll start to build up some big items on these guys, make some kind of big high ground defense. But it is pretty much time for the Radiant to think about that smoke play that's gonna break the Camel's back. As they group up together behind the Visage mid. Is that Ice Blast flying to scout somewhere? Clearing top wave or something, maybe? Don't know where it headed.
I think the way that you feel right now as Wise Monkeys is that we're in total control. You look at this dire draft, it's really hard for them to find pickoffs. Like, it's a solo clock, basically, that makes plays. There isn't really like anyone to really help them out. Earthspirit at this point in the game does not provide a lot of damage for pickoffs. In teamfights, of course, he does, but for pickoffs, it's not that much. So as long as these plays fairly close to each other, they're going to be able to take any fight. And that's what they're doing.
The big problem is, who do they focus down, right?
Yeah.
Venge with Pike, Strength Treads, Aquila, Ogre Axe. Actually, forget that. Full BKB is done for Venge now. She's going to be sitting on, 2,500 HP when she switches to Strength Treads. Visage with 4 points in Cloak. Blade Mail on top of everything else we've already seen him pick up is a huge advancement of their tankiness. Bat now has 4 staff on top of the Blink Dagger. It feels like the Dire have to pick off the supports. Focus AA, kill him before Blast, kill a Sand King before he can multi-burst strike your team down, and then maybe weasel your way to the fights. But they find the Bat Rider, the solo target, left behind by the rest of the team, taken out. Their false promise onto the Huskar. This is decent coming in from the Dire squad, but they've got the chain stun. Huskar's locked in place, he can't lifesteal through it, and he's gonna pop. He can't come back from that. Dead for 45, he does have buyback, but they're losing the rest of their team far too quickly. GG's called.
Yeah. I mean, there isn't really much to say. This was honestly, even though the stats may not say it, it felt like a flawless game. Like, there were a couple of deaths here and there, but in terms of like having a game plan and then just sticking to it and executing it, it felt like these are like, everyone knew exactly what their job in the game was, and they just did it. Nothing fancy, just 5 people that really know this is what I need to do, and then they just did it.
Yeah. Ease of execution. You can maybe make the argument that Evil Corp came in with a bit of a, a cheesy strat, maybe something they had pocketed that they brought out with, Oracle Huskar, the Gyro first pick.
Yeah.
It was a little bit unusual. Didn't work out this time. But it's a best of 3. Maybe they can swing things back.
Yeah, I think the best thing about doing something like this, and I like doing it in game 1, because if you want to cheese, you cheese the first game. Doesn't work out, you're like, whatever, okay, now we play them for real. You don't really, I feel like your mentality doesn't get disrupted as much as it might do.
You don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, exactly,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
You're like, oh, we just Huskar'd and they didn't work out, and whatever. Go next.
Go next, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll see. Game 2 coming up. Short break before we see whether the Georgians can make this a quick 2-0 sweep. 21.5 minutes. Very quick dispatch there of Evil Corporation. But Huskar not living up to the dreams or the memes. We'll come back in a little bit with game number 2.